What's up, you guys? It's James from James Reptiles, and in today's video we're going to be going over all of my new Caledonian geckos. And basically what that means is all my geckos from the island of New Caledonia, which involves my cresteds and my gargoyles. A lot of species from New Caledonia are endemic to that area, and that just means they're only found there. This is a couple of islands. Is it a couple? It might be like a couple hundred, but there's a couple like main islands that most of them come from, and they're only found there. They're only able to thrive in that kind of climate, and it's just really awesome. That area is just full of geckos. It's just geckos for the most part. To start out though, right here we have my 3 clutches of eggs. This clutch was laid 3 days ago. This clutch was laid like 2 weeks ago, and this one was laid over a month ago. This one will be hatching fairly soon after the new year, and of course I'll film that for you guys as I did the last clutch that hatched out. And we'll start just with those babies. Alright, so these 2 babies right here are the latest to hatch out. This one has a broken pinstripe but lots of Dalmatian spots, and this one with the full pinstripe is pretty spotless. There's a couple oil spots here and there, but other than that, pretty solid. These guys are super adorable, and I do keep them with a slightly older gecko. And the reason I do that is just it helps them kind of understand where the food dish is and all that stuff. You know, if you have baby leopards, you can throw mealworms on the ground, you can throw crickets on the ground, and no matter where they're at, the insects are going to crawl towards them and they're going to get some to eat anyway, and eventually they'll learn the bowl. With crested geckos, you can't just put their food anywhere. You kind of have to put the bowl on the ground, and I like to put them in with something a little bit bigger that's still pretty young. It kind of teaches them, hey, you know, the bowl is, that guy goes to the bowl, he eats food, and then he leaves. I could do that, and I haven't had a problem with it yet. Those guys' names, I named them Bingo and Bongo. This right here is Cherry. Cherry came from a very red female that I got, and at the time when I got him, I had actually purchased like 4 geckos from this person. I didn't have room for this female, so I gave him to my buddy Trent, and I said the only stipulation is I want a nice baby from him. And so I ended up with this guy right here. Super interesting pattern, super light colors, and definitely a red chin underneath. Looking like it's going to be a boy, which is alright. You know, boys are fine. I can either sell it or find a project for it, but I'm probably not going to end up finding a project for it just because, you know, such a small breeder, I only have so many tanks at this moment. There's not a spot for everyone. Moving on, this is Sandra Lee. Sandra Lee has a bunch of little spots. Actually, let me bring her close to the camera for you. It's hard to make out from a distance, but as she gets older, they will fill in. Come on. Well, you can see a little bit right there. She's just covered in these little tiny speckles. And basically, those are called Dalmatian spots. They just, basically, it's like a Dalmatian, like the dog has the spots. They grow and they multiply as the gecko gets older. And when it's an adult, they stop. So every shed, they get a little bit more spottage. You know, some start to grow up. If you have a baby that has a good amount when it's born, that's how you know it's going to have a lot when it's an adult. And some that are born with none end up growing some. That's just kind of the way it goes. But this next gecko, oh, that's backwards. I like to have my labels in front, and I do label all my animals. It just kind of helps me, you know, where is this specific gecko, what year was it born, who are the parents, even what species is it, and what number is it. So if someone contacts me via email or about Morph Market or whatever, they say, hey, I want gecko, crested gecko 2019 baby number 8. I can be like, yep, that's it right there. Whatever. So this next gecko, well, let's start with this other one first because it's in shed. This right here is just a baby I produced. It's got a kind of funky little pinstripe pattern going. Nothing really special overall, just kind of, it's cool, it's definitely interesting, but I think they're all interesting, to be honest. And it's definitely in shed right now. But this next gecko, I'm waiting for it to get big. It is Whitey Hootin', my lily white crested gecko. This gecko was really my first investment animal, and though it still hasn't got up to size, I've already invested in some other animals. This animal cost me $1,000, believe it or not, actually $1,050 to have it shipped. It's a lily white crested gecko. They are going for a lot right now. This one is super interesting in pattern. And of course, by the time it's old enough to breed, people are already selling them for less and less and less. I've seen some go for 500. By the time it's ready to breed, you know, if they're going for 500 regularly and I sell mine for 500, I only have to sell a pair to make my money back, and everything else is profit. You know, at that point, it takes me $20 to raise it and I sell it for 500. Who cares how much time I put in taking pictures or whatever, you know? That's profit right there. And that's kind of why I got this animal. It's very special. I'm hoping it's a boy, but it's too young to tell. It looks like it's going to be a female. Who's to say? Not me. You know, whatever. I'm not going to go over every baby. I'm going to skip these down here. These 4 right here are all on Morph Market, including the one right behind me. If you want to check them out, James Reptiles at Morph Market or Morph Market / James Reptiles. If you go to Morph Market and you go to stores, you can find me in there. But nevertheless, I'm going to go move on to Race Car. Race Car was one of the first, Race Car was the first baby I purchased. I got him from a wholesale order through my work. My boss allows us to add on to a wholesale order if we wish. If another customer is ordering, we can tack on. You know, we don't have to pay shipping. We get wholesale price. It's really quite awesome. Crested geckos, we're allowed to hop on a crested gecko order as long as we're purchasing 5 at $30 a piece. 25 for like mid normals, 30 for nice animals. So we always pick normals when anyone's picking. We go pick normals. Usually a couple of us will buy together. That way, you know, if someone wants 2 and someone wants 3, you can buy 5. But I ended up with this guy, Race Car, super nice, clean stripes. It's really awesome. I've never seen a gecko like this before. And I call him Race Car because of the stripes. And at this point, he's definitely a male, and I definitely do want to keep him. I have an orange female I think would go nice with him. Just waiting for that girl to grow a little bit more. And, you know, in a couple months, I'll pair the 2 together. And we'll get some nice orange striped babies. These are 2 of my breeding females. This is Bella and this is Sarah. Sarah was given to me by a friend, a coworker. She was believed to possibly not lay good eggs, but then she did. And she's actually gained a little bit of weight since she's been here. And it's actually really strange to see a breeder female with a tail. Males tend to bite a lot when they're breeding and tend to cause females to drop tails and startle them a little bit. Bella is a huge female given me by my buddy Tristan when he was getting out of the hobby. Almost a full pin with some little Dalmatian spots here and there, but she's giant and her head is huge. And paired with the other male that he gave me, they produce some killer babies. And that she also likes to jump, which scares me because I'm always thinking if she's switching her eggs. And she hasn't laid me eggs in a while, so I'm really concerned about her. Not really concerned, but like concerned why she isn't laying. Like, I don't know. She's about to jump again. This right here is my male. He's the father to all of my geckos. As far as I'm aware, some were given to me, and it's unknown if they were gravid before or after. But as far as I'm aware, this is the male to all my geckos. He's got immaculate head structure, huge crest, and a short little nose that people tend to love. Like I said in previous videos, I've been offered a lot of money for this male. He's not for sale, and he probably won't ever be. I just love him a lot. He's not the longest gecko. He's fairly like short from what I could tell, but he's got this nice wrinkly chunk to him, and I absolutely love him. I love the gray color with the yellow and the green brown pattern down the dorsal. It's just really cool. And a lot of crested geckos are different, and almost all of them are beautiful. And this one happens to be one of my favorites. So these are the 2 girls in that top tank up there, and they're both fired up right now. You can see my girl Tegan is nice, kind of a yellow, almost a green color, and she's got kind of that fur on her dorsal that just kind of bleeds out, almost like a wild type. And this right here is Paradise. I got her from Paradise Crested Geckos. That's why I named her that. She's got some nice Dalmatian spots on her, and she's almost a brown burgundy red color and almost a full pin. She's really nice. She's better than anything I thought I was going to produce when I started. That's why I picked her up. Let's get some new blood in here. Let's definitely get something different than what I got. And she's perfect for that, and she's about to jump on my face. Please, please, please. Okay, she decided not to. These girls both have their tails. She's laid good eggs for me, and I've seen breeding behavior from Paradise, so anytime now, she'll be laying some eggs, and I'll have another mom in the production circle going. And that just means more eggs per month, which is awesome for me, which means more babies, which means I'm more likely to do shows, which means you'll more likely see me and my videos will get better. and that's how that's gonna happen. Be free! Let's move on to some gargoyle geckos. This right here is my female gargoyle gecko. I was always planning on getting into gargoyle geckos just because they're the same care as crested geckos. And I happened to walk into a reptile shop and I saw her for $200, and I said, you know what, an adult female for $200, even if she is missing a couple toe tips, that's gonna get me into gargoyles, and I need to pick her up. So I did. She gained, like 8 grams super fast as soon as I got her, and she's just been a doll ever since. She doesn't like to climb very much, and I don't know if that has to do with her toe tips missing. Maybe she can't suction as well as the glass, but I just always find her on the ground, and it was concerning at first, but now I know that's just what she likes. This right here is my male gargoyle gecko, and my gargoyles don't have names, and it's kind of okay. Well, she has a name, it's Willow. He doesn't have a name, and that's kind of okay. I don't have an inventory set up for him. I do for my crested just because I have so many babies. Until I start producing babies, I won't set up an inventory. And if you guys want to see a video on my inventory and how I do everything, I can definitely make a separate video about that. But as soon as I got Willow over there, I said, you know what, I have to find a male, I have to get them started, because the longer I wait, the longer I'm going to wait for babies. So I picked this guy up from, I forget his name, but you just saw it on screen because I went back and checked. But he's got a nice red stripe. It's not a huge red stripe, but for the price I paid, it was awesome. I got him at a good deal. Got a little discount because I know a person. And my friend was actually vending a show with the guy who produced her, and she brought it back from Arizona, and I went and picked it up from her. And the horns are huge on him. I don't know if you can see it from that far away, but his horns are huge. And I can't wait to produce babies with huge horns just like the dad. This is one of the last two I want to show you guys. This is just a male that I've raised up. Tons of Dalmatian spots on it. It's not something I'm going to keep just because I like my male a lot with the head structure, and until something that really comes along either has tons of spots and a decent head structure, or a really great head structure like him, and maybe slightly more spots comes along, he's gonna be my male, just because I want to make sure I keep the best of the best, and if nothing beats him in overall, then I'm not gonna switch it. So this male is up for sale. It is up on Morph Market, I believe, and it will be at the February show in Daly City, unless it sells before then. I've been getting a lot of Morph Market inquiries, but it's a lot of that, you tell people, oh, shipping $60, the animal's barely $60. And I'm not even going to ship until after Christmas, towards the middle of January, just because everyone's returning things and the post offices are busy and the weather's terrible. And it kind of scares a lot of people away. I end up, not getting messages back from people, and that's fine. I know that most of my market is at the shows, they're lower end animals. But as I get nicer stuff, I'd like to sell more online. I'd like to not wait for a show to make my income, because by the time the show comes around, it's like, hey, shell out $100 at least for the table, $50 for gas and mileage and all of that, and you have to drive 2 hours to the show, and that tends to suck. I really like shows, and I have before I was even selling animals at them, but all that kind of sucks if I'm not going to sell animals and make that money where it's, I need that money before to purchase the table, or I can't purchase the table. So this guy is really awesome spotting on him. That's why he's got his own big tub. I know a lot of them are in smaller tubs, and stuff that I really want to see grow ends up getting a big tub first, and that's just kind of the way the cookie crumbles. This is the last baby I want to show you guys. This is a female. I did not produce this. I got this from Pangea through a wholesale order that I put in for them. Nice, awesome contrast to this light yellow on the back and the dark up here, and lots of big Dalmatian spots. And there's not a ton, but at least it's a Dalmatian. It's at least 25 spots. There's some on the head, there's some on the arms, there's some on the dorsal, and there's some on the sides, which is awesome. It's a nice spread. They're nice, thick, big spots. I'd love to see this girl get to size. I want to pair her with that male and have a lot of little spots and big spots mixed in, and a nice full pin. Anything that comes out with a full pin, I'll definitely hold back. And if they got more spots than this girl, they're good enough for me, This girl is really nice, and she's not for sale. Unfortunately, I know a lot of people would like this girl. She's also got a nice big head, which is something that crested gecko people love for some reason. But that's going to be it for today's video. These are all my crested geckos. Of course, not 100% of them. There's some that I left out. Some of them look the same. They're just kind of repeating at that point. Some of them don't show up very well on camera, just that's the way it is. You have to have a nice still frame picture or see it in person. So I'm James from James Reptiles. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. We did just hit 30 subscribers. That was my goal for the end of the year, was hit at least 30. My second goal before the end of the year is I want to hit 300 Instagram followers. So if you're not following me on Instagram, please go follow me. Tell your friends, tell your family, do whatever you gotta do. I'm trying to get there, and maybe when we hit 500, I'll do some kind of giveaway or something. But nevertheless, hit me up on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, jamesreptiles@gmail.com, and have a good one. Enjoy your weekend, and happy Friday.